Hey everybody, it's Mr. Storm. Yeah, it's me, all the way down here. I had to make myself really tiny because there's a lot of information in this presentation, and I want to make sure you guys can see as much of it as possible. Okay, so this week we're going to start learning some e-commerce basics. We're going to learn what e-commerce is and some of the terms that you're going to be kind of thrown at you. So hopefully you're a little bit more familiar whenever you hear some of these terms. So what is e-commerce? It's simply stated, it's just business conducted on the internet, which I don't know, as of this year, insert year here, that is a ton of business, right? More and more business is being conducted online, especially if, I don't know, you're in the middle of quarantine because it's a global pandemic. So you're, buying stuff online. This video was recorded in 2020. So anyway, so e-commerce is business conducted online, which, hey, guess what? You have a website. So maybe this is important for you. So there are four major types of e-commerce, and these are four major types of commerce in general, but they apply to e-commerce as well. So you have business to business. Now, business to business is when companies sell their goods online to other companies without engaging in sales to customers, right? So if I'm a business and I sell my goods to another business, that's business to business. On the flip side, you have business to consumer. So business to consumer is when I, a company, sell my product to you, a customer, right? So business to consumer, this is most of the e-commerce that happens. And then you have consumer to consumer, where I'm just a regular guy, a regular customer, and I sell my goods, my, used stuff. Maybe I have a stamp collection, or I don't know, a piece of toast shaped like, Paul McCartney. Whatever it is, I'm going to sell that online to somebody else. That is consumer to consumer. A good example of this is eBay, or some of the online swap meet trading websites you might visit, like KSL. Then you have consumer to business. So a consumer posts a need, and the company will post bids to support that need. And then a customer then reviews the bids and selects a company. This isn't how it's done most of the time, but sometimes it's done this way. So for example, if I was shopping for a contractor to come do some work on my house, I would go out and put out some bids, or I would request some bids for contractors, and they would come back with their prices, and then maybe I will bring them in. Now, there are a lot of websites that facilitate this, and this is what so if your business facilitates consumers finding businesses, so there are a lot of aggregate websites which take quotes from, let's say, insurance companies, auto insurance companies, and let you pick one. That's a consumer to business type. That's a consumer to business type of e-commerce. All right. So this is a cool, representation. All right. So let's talk about websites in general. So domain names. So a domain name on a website, it's the easy to read name that's used to identify an IP address of a server that distinguishes it from other systems on the World Wide Web. So for example, my website for my business, rectanglepress.com, right? That is an easy to recognize name. I can just tell people, I can tell customers, hey, if you want to buy my book, or if you want to buy the sequel to my book, or coming soon, the sequel to my book, you can go to rectanglepress.com and you can find my page on Rectangle Press, and that will help you to buy my book. Right? So I can tell that very easily to customers instead of saying go to 1.8.129.36.4.9, right? I don't need to tell them the entire, right? I can just tell them rectanglepress.com. That's a domain name. And then you have the top level domain. This is the .com or the .org or the .gov, right? Now, a lot of people don't really think too much about .com, .org, .edu, but those are all specific indicators for what kind of website you are on. The top level domain can either mean you're a commercial business. So if you're on a .com, that's a commercial business, it's a website used to generate revenue for the person who owns that website. .org is an organization. Usually it's nonprofit organizations. So for example, Utah Military Academy.org, it's because we're nonprofit. All right. You can use .gov if you're a government agency, .net if you are commercial use, but you're stuck in 1995, or .edu if you're an educational institution. And there are plenty more. There are tons more. There's one for each state, so like .ut for Utah. There's tons of them, and they all mean something different, and they communicate something to your customer about what to expect when they go to your website. Okay. So there are basic measurement tools that are used by e-commerce sites to track and improve websites' functionality. This is a system called analytics, which we're going to get into in a couple of weeks. We're going to dig pretty heavy into analytics in a couple of weeks. So one thing we might track on our website is something called a bounce rate. This is the number of people who view one page and then leave the website without viewing any other pages. So this would tell you that maybe the people who are landing at your page aren't the right audience, right? Maybe your marketing efforts are directed to the wrong demographic because people are coming to your page, they go, oh, that's not what I want, and then they leave, okay? The bounce rate is really important. You want to make sure that you have a low bounce rate. You want people to stay on your website and click around. You want them to actually, look at the products you're providing, okay? So some common actions are they jump in, then they click the back button, or they jump in, then they close the browser altogether, right? Or they jump in, they type a different URL, and then they move on. Or they jump in and then do nothing. So the session times out after 30 minutes. These are all indicators that the wrong person has found your website. Then you have the conversion rate. This is the number of conversions divided by the number of visitors. So conversion in this context would be a fully paid customer, however that means for your business, whether it's they've signed up for a service or they've bought a product or they, put their name on your mailing list, whatever that might be for you, right? So conversion rate is the number of conversions divided by the number of visitors. So if you've had 100 people show up to your website and 25 of them actually did what you wanted them to do, then you'd have a 25% conversion rate, which is, depending on your business, maybe high, maybe low. So, for example, this is an older example, The Sims 3. They wanted to get people to register on their website. This was their original the launcher for the game, right? Notice how cluttered it is, how, it's really hard. Over here, you can see join the fun, sign up now, right? But there's all this other stuff here too that I want to look at and, oh, what's this? And oh, what's that, right? So this wasn't producing a good conversion rate for them. So they redesigned. Now, the biggest thing I see is register your game and get a free new town. Now, register now for free. They're telling me to do something. This would provide a large increase in conversion rate. For example, visitors who visited their website who registered for games registered their games on the website increased by 128% when they made this change. So this is important. So, and adding free on there is a game changer. If it really is a free service or something free to do, yeah, you might try to sell them a product because they did this thing. But it is free. They didn't have to spend any money. But just putting free on there makes people go, oh, okay, it's free. Boom, let's click it. Let's see what happens, right? Then you have conversions. We talked about this a little bit before. So this is completing the action or action that the website wants you to take. Again, this isn't necessarily buying a product. It can be, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. Maybe you're focused on building your mailing list or building your or getting people to sign up for a credit card or whatever. If you have a finance division, that could be a conversion. So a call to action is usually what you want to drive customers to a conversion. So for example, on this Lightproof website, here's the example we have. This orange store button wasn't driving a lot of conversions, right? People know what a store is. Okay, great. But when they changed it to shop now, basically do something and when to do it, shop now. It sounds stupid, but that little change drove up a 16% increase in their monthly revenue. 16%. Just by telling people what to do. Instead of saying, here's a store, they said, shop now. And then people go, oh, I better shop now. And they click the button, right? That little change, 16% increase in revenue, which is huge. Let's talk about the conversion funnel. So this is the track a consumer takes through an internet advertising or search system, navigating an e-commerce website, and then finally converting to a sale. So your conversion funnel needs to be as tight as possible. You do not want them to go through a bunch of windy, bendy turns, okay? If someone has to click too many times before they get that sweet confirmation that their purchase has gone through, then they're probably going to jump out, right? You want to make sure that it's as easy as possible. Amazon created one-click buy, which is, it gets me in trouble a lot. Ooh, that looks good. Click. Oh, all right, fine. I'll buy it. I guess I do need that Iron Man helmet with all the lights and stuff. Actually, I do want an Iron Man. Maybe I'm going to do some shopping after this. Okay, so the conversion funnel will bring people into, and this is the track they take. You want to make that as small as possible. So, for example, Groupon, they advertise on other websites. So if you're on somebody's website and then a Groupon ad pops up and maybe you go, oh, okay, maybe I should, sign up for Groupon. So you put in your email address on their ad, right? That puts you into their email list, which then you get an email from Groupon. When you click the link, it takes you right into deals that are specific to you as a customer in that area. And then it's a couple of clicks and then you're in there. So the conversion funnel, it needs to direct people to clicking that buy now button, right? And the reason why it's a funnel is because your customers are all out here. You want to funnel them in to clicking that buy now button. Okay. Cart abandonment rate. This is the number of people who intend to buy by clicking on the cart button divided by the number of customers who actually buy. So when you click on shopping cart and you look at all the items that you just picked out for yourself, this is the amount of people who actually click buy now versus the amount of people that go, I don't know, it's too much. And they bounce, right? They leave. So you want your cart abandonment rate to be low. And there are ways that you can keep that from getting too high. For example, you can make sure that shipping costs are displayed early and often, right? If a person is kind of doing the math in their head and they're racking up all the things they're going to buy, then they go into the cart, then the last thing that gets thrown at them is the extra cost for shipping. They're probably going to abandon it at that point because they were like, oh, I didn't know it would cost me $35 to ship from Timbuktu. I can't do this. I'm not going to buy that. So make sure your shipping costs are up front. All right. So for example, 74% of all online shopping carts are abandoned. That's about $4 trillion worth of merchandise that's not purchased every single year. So yeah, there you go. Just assume 3/4 of the people that go to your shopping cart, that actually click shopping cart, aren't going to buy the products. Page views. This is the amount of views a website's getting. That's pretty easy. So if you click on that Disney.com link right there, it'll take you to Disney.com. If you click it 20 more times, it'll be another 20 page views for Disney. Page views are important so that you can see how many people are actually visiting your website every day. If you have a large amount of page views, but almost no conversions, then maybe there's something wrong with your website. Maybe it's not easy enough for people to find what you want them to do and follow through with that process. Click path. So this is the journey a user takes through a website. Now, this isn't the journey you want them to take. This is the journey that they actually take. Now, there are some cool websites that'll show you the click path for your website. It'll show you the most often used click path, and you can kind of get a sense for how people are using your site. So, and they also track, how do people get to your website? Did they type in Disney.com in the search bar and takes it straight to your website? Or did they go to Google first, then Google Disney, then click on Disney.com? That's important because it tells you whether or not your Google search engine or your Google search analytics are working properly. If someone searches for your company's name, your website should be the first thing that pops up, right? And if it's not, there's something wrong with your Google analytics. unique visitors. This is the number of distinct visitors that visit a website for a particular period of time. So if you look at, a full month of data, the amount of visitors that visit your website for the first time within that month, those are unique visitors. And if you visit a link once a day, you'll be counted as a unique visitor. If you come back to that site 20 more times today, you're still counted as a unique visitor. If you visit that site from another computer or device, you'll be counted as a new visitor. So there are people who regularly visit websites on a prescribed time, and those are not unique visitors. Unique visitors are what really spreads content and really spreads information about your business. You want unique visitors. And you get visitors, unique visitors, by having good marketing campaigns that are finding them where they are and bringing them to your website. Repeat visits. So the number of visits who return to a website. So I went to your website last week, I come back to it this week, and maybe if I come back to it the week after, I'm starting to form a pattern. If your business relies on repeat visits, this is huge. If your business just wants people to come in, buy a product once, and then leave, you probably don't care much about repeat visits. All depends on how your website is structured. Personalized greetings to customers and giving away free stuff can help them come back to your website. So if you have a bunch of customers that came to your website once, then they haven't visited for a while, you may send them a promotion targeted to them saying, hey, we miss your business. Or, hey, come on over here, get some free Oreos. I don't know. It's a good plan, especially if you want to grab those people and bring them back. Gives them another chance to maybe take a second look at your product. Exit pages. These are the pages on your website that drive customers away. Right? What if people, they like this product, they like that product, but as soon as you show them this product, they're gone, right? They mostly leave once that product pops up. So make sure you're looking at what the exit page is on your website, and that'll help you to figure out, maybe that website's not well designed, or maybe it's confusing, or maybe it's just gross looking. Let's get rid of it, right? Pop-ups. Pop-ups drive people away. If you're on I can just tell you as a customer, if I'm on a website and I'm, scrolling through some whatever, and I'm, like, okay, cool, I think I want to buy that one, and boom, pop up. I'm like, oh, gross, get out of here. I usually just get rid of it. I also do the same for, and you probably do the same as well, when it comes to ad block, right? If I use ad block and then, ad block thing pops up saying, hey, we see that you're using ad block, get rid of it so you can read this website. I get it. And as marketing professionals, as we are, we should probably be fine with ad block, or we should hate ad block. We want people to see our ads, but it doesn't help your website if someone comes there to read your content and then you're just you're pushing your product onto them and telling them they can't use ad block because you want to push your product onto them. Not a good idea. Importance of e-commerce on a business. So, of course, if you have a business that's a brick and mortar, a regular business, having a website for that business can reach more customers. It's not limited by the location. You can reach customers faster. You can update your inventory a lot quicker. It creates another way to contact your customers and have your customers contact you with issues or things they want to tell you or that are good about your business. All kinds of stuff, right? It could also be a more cost-effective way to communicate with your customers. Sometimes if you're calling customers a lot, that requires manpower. If you're visiting them door to door or creating direct mailers, that costs money. So a website will allow for your customers to contact you when they need it, and you can contact them when you need it for almost no money. Websites are cheap. It can help you maintain a brand image. So your brand that you want to present around your product, your website should reflect your brand. And so this is one way for you to do that. And your customers can buy your products anytime, 24/7. They don't have to wait for store hours. They don't have to, come in and walk around through the aisles looking for what they want. They can log in from their phone on the toilet at 3 a.m, right? They can buy your products whenever they want. All right, so that's a little bit about e-commerce. Now, next week, we're going to talk a little bit more. This week, you're going to take a quiz and you're going to actually create a direct marketing campaign through email. So this is going to be super fun. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. I'll see you later.